When you sit here and you're a military brat like I am, and have dealt with international law enforcement, you come to see things a little differently than what most other people would. And I had people sitting here talking about, oh, I was so paranoid and all this and that. I'm not paranoid. I never have been. If I was scared, I wouldn't have taken an ounce of weed into the Cass County courthouse and made sure that the prosecutor could smell the aroma. Um, there's other things I would not have accomplished if I was a paranoid type of person, especially knowing who my people are. One thing I do know, though, is the facts in my case. And one of the facts in my case is I feel very much like Department of Health and Human Services did what they could to try and force me into a medical situation, or I will say provoke a medical situation knowingly, by keeping certain things from me, like my medical insurance, so I couldn't get my medications, specifically blood pressure medications. And then having people like Miracle come to my house being nasty with her little group of kids, having Ronald Lee, my rapist, walk back and forth in front of my house every day. These types of things provoke strokes. These guys already knew that I had 2 strokes with my head injury, because there's at least 2 x-rays that I know of that will verify that they knew my condition much more in detail than what they pretended to know. Because when you have a head injury like I had in these types of x-rays, they're both dental x-rays, by the way, they have to, by law, report it to the police. Not to be funny or anything. The one thing Fabian had made a point to say to me, Fabian Galata, was that they didn't feel like investigating. Well, that to me was a message directly from Victor Fitz, who was a conflict of interest to even have anything to do with my case, especially when I told him, when they pulled me out of the courthouse or the courtroom, because he felt that I had threatened him, because he hadn't gotten the entire statement that I had made, which it was a political statement. I gave him a compliment and told him, and a negative, a positive and a negative. He got so vicious at the negative, he pulled me out of the courtroom and was going to have me arrested for threatening him on a political statement. Anyway, my point here is this. There are things that these guys did specifically to provoke medical situations. It just didn't work out that way, because by the grace of God, I have God. I also have to look at the entire situation to the fact of knowing that these guys knew my medical record, and they were trying to they have taken my kids. I unfortunately have to feel like they wished me dead, so that I would die without my children and my family. Some of these people, like Robert Dole, would have held a grudge against my mother. Like, people don't realize, Fred Dole sat there in front of me, in front of Marie, and told me that my mother was the love of his life while he was drunk. And I have to wonder if that may have provoked what caused some of the situation. Because, Steve, he's got issues already, and has done some things with regards to where drugs are concerned. And he's got a history of drug abuse. I, on the other hand, do not. So I have to wonder with these guys, because I don't know Robbie and Emily like that. And for them to try and get so involved in my situation, I didn't ask them for help to take my kid. I asked them for help to go to the university that Robbie had been to school at and ask them about my documents, because I knew I had treason. That's apples and oranges compared to what I asked and what he did. These guys acted like vultures, hungry, in for the kill, waiting for me to die so they could strip whatever penny they could off of me, hoping that I would go through with what I did with the Michigan court, because they knew I was going to, I have damages. And so I have to think that these guys they acted on behalf of the money, because they knew in the end that I was telling the truth, and in the severity of it, I do have an inheritance, and there's going to be damages because of what happened here. So I want people to look at the whole picture, not just a piece of it, because there's a lot more to this than, oh, they took her kid because her uncle died of dementia and she posted a video. It sounds an awful lot like Benghazi to me. This wasn't because of a video. This was people being vindictive because they were caught with God's love. They were being malicious in prosecution. The conflicts of interest are outstanding. The violation of code of ethics is just absolutely disgusting. And I'm so grateful I knew what to do, because I contacted the Bar Association and told them that I asked for accommodation because of being disabled. So on top of that, we've got a sticky situation here that these guys caused. They provoked it, not me. With God's love. God bless America. Have a blessed day. And back the Blair.